That heifer right there just don't even care.
Take yourself out.
Axe.
Hey,
What do you say, folks? Everybody's having a good evening. Hey, let us know real quick in the comment. Give us a thumbs up if you can hear us over the air in the background. If not, we'll remedy that. But
you got one on today.
yes, it did. Just about 80 degrees it got today. But it was a fine day.
That's what I was just telling Wayne. Got up to, I think, 81 today. It was gorgeous.
Awesome. Thank you, Danae.
It was pretty. I've been outside. I think I went out about 4 o'clock this morning. And y'all, it was so nice. I didn't come back in the house till like 11. And about 10:30, I guess, I come back in.
I got up. Well, we both got up about the same time, and I got in my chair, went back to
It
sleep,
was 6 hour nap.
and I didn't wake up. Buddy, I ain't done this since I was, Lord of mercy, late teens, I guess, but
I woke him up about 10:15. He's like, you just gonna sleep all day?
yeah, blew my mind. Well, she pretty much woke me up, and she said, are we going to church? About that time, I looked at the clock, and it was getting past almost 10:30, and I was like, well,
Did you write
not
those
today.
names down?
I wrote,
DC.
yeah, I think, yeah, right there.
Okay. Yes,
clock.
DC, we did. Oh, come on, Mr. Mike. I'm not slacking tonight.
So we switched roles after we got home a while ago. She took her a nap, and she said, hey, wake me up at such and such time.
Yeah, but I told him to wake me up at 6:30, and it was 10 minutes to 6 when I nodded off.
So y'all forgive her. She might be a little sluggish this evening, but
Oh, I'm extremely sluggish. I'm going like 15 hours on 2.5 hours of sleep last night.
I think she went, Lee, is Lee in here?
Mm-hmm.
Lee, I think she went and fixed your fancy coffee over there to kind of get firing on all 8 cylinders. So
I did. I've had, I think that's my 11th cup of coffee today, and it's still not kicking in. DC, I did not get to watch it yet, but Tim watched it, and he was telling me about it. He was like, you are not even going to believe this.
we got them,
Oh,
well, they're the last names on the prayer list to add. So I'll kind of touch on that whenever we get into the prayer list and speak of those folks over there. But yeah, man, it just, she's lagging too.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, it's been, well, for us, and we don't mean to rub it in, y'all, but it has been, like we said, beautiful, fine weather. And it's just in perfect days to open up the windows in the house and to be lazy on the weekend. That's for sure.
But we ain't been like, we've been going all day long. We did make a video though.
A peaceful one.
Yeah, we didn't finish it.
Well,
Now we're slacking, Mr. Mike.
We did try to take a day.
DC.
Take a day for ourselves. Thursday. Was it Thursday? Friday.
We tried, but it didn't work out at all. As soon as we thought we were gonna get to go, just hang out, and that would have taken a while. And we hadn't been in our digging spot 20 minutes, and everybody starts calling. Hey, can y'all do this? Can y'all do that?
I need you to run here. Can you run there? I'm sorry to bother you. So,
yes, Keith, it is most definitely pine pollen season down here. But I went out when I was walking the yard this morning, waiting on him to wake up. I got some like big old amaryllis in pots outside. I leave them inside because I see like I'm scared to death. I'm gonna lose them in the winter,
We'll turn that there.
and I want to bring them in. But one of the flower stalks got so big it just fell over. So I was hunting all over the edge of the woods out there for a good sized stick with a fork in it where I could shove it down in the dirt and prop my little flower stalk up. Yes, Jerry. That was my
Yes, sir.
mentality the other day.
We'll touch on that after she.
Yeah, but I what was I saying? The amaryllis. Yeah, I finally found my stick. Got it back from Jasper twice before I made it to the plant with it. But when I leaned over to, put the stick in and prop up the one flower stalk, I bumped my shoulder on the other flower stalk. And I stood up, went back to the table, sat down with my coffee, and I was looking down at my phone because I had done that little rose video while I was up too. And when I went to sit down and look down at my phone, I was wearing like a dark blue jacket, and the whole shoulder of it, there was just this bright yellow smear of pollen all over my arm.
Oh, let's see. Mike, let's see. Eclipse Beekeeping Challenge, are you in the path? Try and do a video on your hives and sun dims, and though it returns kind of exciting.
I don't think we're in the path.
No, I don't think we're going to get, but
Like maybe a couple seconds of it being. I don't even think it's going to get totally dark here.
it ain't going to do much of nothing. I did think about, just seeing what they may do, but I don't, be honest with you, for what little bit of time that we're supposed to get of it, I don't even think we'll be able to really see if there's an effect or not. But further west you go towards, the ones of y'all out there, Texas,
Yeah,
Indiana, and all them.
33 mile fields that I'm going to be 99.1%.
That's the ones you need to watch right there.
Mhm.
Ones like Phil and them, that's going to be right there in the complete totality.
That's
reckon.
what I was going to do. DC, I'm going to try to pull up the link for their channel real quick and drop it. The people who emailed us the video.
Yeah, we'll check it out. Second.
Okay.
There's an ad I need to put to that. Just a moment. Because I don't know. I guess why we on it. Hey, we're getting on it.
I'm just laughing out loud.
Back to the eclipse part. I have no idea, y'all. Like I say, what the effect is going to be around us. Hannah laughed the other day. She read a message on the social media site that said the county that's just above us, they were shutting schools down because kids can't walk in the dark.
Because the kids have to walk outside to get from the classroom building to the cafeteria. And that can be a danger zone if it gets dark.
It's not going to get dark.
We're nowhere near the path where it's actually going to get dark.
No, not at all.
And y'all are closing schools for this.
What y'all got to think? If there's ice on the road, we shut the whole county down here too. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how out of tune we are with Mother Nature and her doings, if you will. But I did see an interesting article with AOC that said that perhaps we should study the sun at nighttime. And
I wasn't even going to touch that.
I just had to bring that up, y'all. I'm sorry. But yeah, the sun needs to be studied at nighttime.
If y'all haven't seen that clip, if you want a good laugh, I mean, that is like one of the biggest
thing.
bless your little old heart moments I've had in a long time.
What else? We ain't gonna get on the politics.
No.
And I am forbidden tonight to say the M word.
I told him, y'all, the first time that word comes out of your mouth, I'm getting up and I'm taking my phone and I'm walking out of this house.
So
I'm not going there.
I cannot say the M word. Anybody, please don't provoke me. Because I will have to restrain until the next episode.
Yes, he will. My patient fuse is about that long on this little sleep I've had.
For the ones of you that missed it, I had a little moment yesterday on Edge Live about the M's, and she said I could just wring your neck.
No,
Whenever we
Mike,
hung up
not
the phone.
muskox.
But
DC
yeah,
said, go get the ruler, Hannah. Slap them knuckles. I ain't even gonna need a ruler for that, DC. I promise.
see, live will come across. Y'all see it on camera on live TV. Yeah.
Oh, you'll hear it.
So don't worry, we ain't gonna be saying that. I might not be saying anything about them M's. That was IGHT. That was not TE. So,
Play on words will get you caught too.
as the old lady tells us, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
What else? We took a trip to the country, up to the orchard. Went and checked the trap out at the school. It's a failure.
Are
They
you
found a way.
serious?
What?
They're all about it. Carl said, well, Ed said, sorry I got you in trouble with the M's. Carl said, sorry, what's the M word? My wife asked. Keith said, can you spell it out?
Y'all some
No.
funny people.
Yeah, y'all are. They really want to see Hannah pop buttons. Thank you, DC. He said, no spelling them either, buttons.
Oh, hey, I know what buttons to push on her, and I'll push them.
Okay, still. He's putting one letter in the chat at a time.
Yeah. Y'all keep up the good work.
Yeah. A content? No, we're not doing a spelling contest.
A spelling bee.
Funny guy.
See what I did there? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway.
you got some beekeeping news?
Oh, I got beekeeping news wrote down this time.
Okay, well, first, I'm going to just kind of let y'all know something.
What?
The prayer list.
If you want to prayer listen. Oh, yeah. Go ahead with that. Yeah.
We got an email earlier this week from
SquarePants.
I'm trying to figure out what that M word is.
Go ahead with your topic now.
Yeah, look, my brain ain't multitasking this evening, I promise you. But no, Mike at SquarePants Honeybee Farms emailed us. And y'all, I had never thought about doing this. I guess I should have, but I haven't. So definitely giving all the credit to him on this one. But he asked if we would email him a copy of the prayer list for, him having his own personal prayer time. He said he had been trying to just keep up with it as we read it out, but he really couldn't keep up with it. So I told him, it really meant a lot to him. It really meant a lot that he reached out like that. But I told him I would say something on here tonight, and because we're gonna, like, as I update it, I'm gonna keep sending it to him. So if anybody else does want a copy of it, just shoot me an email at gunlinebees@gmail.com and just, tell me, hey, put me on the mailing list for the prayer list or whatever. I mean, no pressure or anything like that. Just I just wanted to kind of throw that out there and give y'all the option. I don't know who like keeps up with it on their own, but I wanted to say that before I forget.
Yeah, because all we got to do now is just copy it, paste it, and send it on to
Oh,
you.
that's a good idea. DC said you could run an updated prayer list on the community tab
Okay.
on our channel.
No, all right. Well, we sure do that too, y'all. I ain't no problem. Like I said, finally got it all typed out. There was a few errors on the typing on my end, thanks to autocorrect. But I got those remedied for the most part. I can send you the uh-ohs because there's only 2 of them, so it ain't that bad. But we can send them right to you and say, hey, okay, this is where the mistake was made on autocorrect or whatever the telephone does to correct me. But yeah, let us know. Gunline, what, Gmail?
Gunline video.
Yeah, there we go. Be happy to send it to anybody that's wanting a copy of it. Absolutely.
Well, DC said, well, if I update it on the community page, everybody would get notified.
Okay. I'm with you. All right. We'll talk about that
Yeah,
later on this evening.
for sure.
And, yeah, I mean, hey, we'll do it. That ain't no problem. So,
Yeah. I mean, I can just like, when I do the Bible verse on Sunday morning, well, no, because we did live on Sunday night.
yeah.
I'll try to start, like, make a mental note to, yeah, and see, that was one thing I was kind of turning over in my head. I don't know if it puts out a notification when, well, but I mean, I don't know, y'all tell me, do y'all get notifications when I put the Bible verse on Sunday morning? Because I do that on the community page. So if you get a notification for that, then I don't see why it wouldn't work.
I don't know, but we've been having this problem when we was talking to somebody else about this the other day about just not getting notifications from people. You know,
Yeah.
we won't get notifications 3, 4, 5 days on, you know, we'll just use old Keith Spillman, for example.
I mean, I was going to say Ed, because like his chat last night, I got the notification that he was live 30 minutes after the whole stream ended, was when I got the first notification.
So, don't know what's going on with all the, however that works
Pastor Larry said no notification.
on the community part.
But then Danae said they get notifications every time I post on there. And Phil said I wasn't getting notifications either.
Is it set on all, or is it just like, I know there's all personalized and none, I think, on the notification part, something like that. So just check and see, maybe if some of y'all are getting all of them or getting, I don't know what personalized means either, but
Oh no, he said I wasn't getting notifications for Ed.
okay. But I mean, that's what several of y'all were not getting notifications until days after y'all put something out. We're like, come on, y'all.
Okay, Randy said turn. I'm reading your name instead of the thing. My notifications are hit and miss. Pastor Larry and them said they get them on the videos. Okay, well, I'll tell you, just to be safe, if you do want a copy of the prayer list, then shoot me an email and let me know. And I'll play around and see if it'll like go out on the community page.
We'll do a test run.
If not, then maybe I can just post it like right under the Bible verse every Sunday and then just update it every week.
There you go. And that way, if we somebody's added between the time you put the Bible verse out and before we go live, we can let y'all
We'll
know. Hey,
still
look,
tell y'all the updates like we read it every week anyway.
absolutely. But we thank y'all to the ones of you that are praying. We know everybody out there is praying and all that, but it just the message that was sent to us, we didn't realize what was being done. But whenever Michael from SquarePants sent us the message, and brother, that we appreciate everything that you said in that message and all. We did not realize it at all, but that was a blessing what you had put in there to open our eyes to on some things.
Mm.
So,
That was a major encouragement for
absolutely.
me. It really was.
Uh,
Mr. Mike said send me some money and I'll let you know if I get notified.
we'll do it. Yes, sir, we will. We will. All right, where was we going? We was headed to the country.
Oh, yeah.
We went to check the trap out. It ain't working. They found a way in. So
Surprise, surprise.
I'm gonna call the coach. I'm gonna call the coach tomorrow and just tell him, look, hey, we're gonna have to cut the things out if y'all want them gone, so on and so forth. Then we moseyed up to Hannah's grandma's and checked Ollie's swarm trap. Nothing yet. Then yesterday evening, my old buddy Lance, the one that I took her up in the bucket truck to get the swarm.
That didn't happen again.
No, this one's at
I can
ground
stand
level.
on a stool and reach this one.
Well, he called me yesterday evening, and before I answered the phone, I told Hannah, I said, I bet you he's got a swarm at the house. And I answered it, and I was like, hey, where's that swarm at? And he's like, well, how'd he put it?
They're in my house,
Yeah.
man. They're in my house. And his wife don't do the bees because I think she's kind of scared of them, but she doesn't know if she's allergic to the bees or not. She's never been stung, but she's allergic to Benadryl. So she's really, really scared to test out the bee stings.
But he was saying, he said, the way he was describing it sounded like scalps. And he said, man, there's a bunch of them back here on my back porch. And, it's not a whole lot, but there's quite a few up here. And I was like, Lance, I said, this sounds like to me they're trying to scout something out. Did the swarm that we caught the other week leave that box? And he said, nope, they're still in there. So we just wrote that off. It's like, all right. Well, when we was leaving from Hannah's grandma's, fixing to head down to his place, it turned into there's a bunch of bees.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to question him on that. What are they doing? They bringing pollen in. And he said, no, they're just flying around, kind of like they're searching for somewhere to get in. And y'all, if we'd been 15 minutes earlier, we'd have seen them come in. But we pulled up in the driveway, and old Lance opens up the back door, and there's just a cloud of bees out his back door. And I told Hannah before we even got out of the truck, I said, that swarm just moved in because they was caked all on the side of the wall right there.
But they were marching.
Yes.
Right before our eyes.
Right on in. They went behind. They're between the brick and the brick freeze. Up in a little cavity. We took our fancy little
Our new toy.
Yep, that little endoscope camera. Well, I'm tell you what, that joker come in handy. I'm glad we spent that money.
Mm-hmm.
But run that rascal back behind the board for the brick freeze, and you could see just a good cluster of honeybees back behind there, and everybody is chained together, measuring, we're assuming, their new little home. And he said, well, you think if we put a box right here that they'll come out? I was like, no, bud, they done made this home. They ain't coming out unless we get them out, kind of thing. So we're gonna go over there first thing tomorrow morning, do that cutout for him, get them out of there, put into a box, lock them down for a couple days, then get them back there in the backfield with everybody else.
Yeah, Michael, he had some stuff like that, but he didn't want them to leave. He wanted to get them bees. He didn't want to run them off. Like he wanted to collect them.
Yeah. His wife, she wants them gone. She didn't say a word, but every look on that woman's face was,
Get them bees out of my
yeah,
house.
I'm done with y'all into beekeeping. And
Doesn't work for squirrel.
let's see where else we go. Ain't nothing happening around here at the house. This weekend, we'll be getting into ours and seeing how, well, the way it's turned out, it's just going to be checking on one split now because we know we've had 2 swarms move into 2 of the splits. So we're pretty sure we got laying queens in those, but the one that is still definitely the split, they have had plenty of time for her to emerge, do a mating flight, and we should be getting close to seeing her hopefully have some eggs laid in there. And once we confirm that, we'll be showing up happy as far as getting the horizontal hives the way we want them. Then we'll start migrating over to getting them laying straw boxes filled back up and going. But our phone call in is kind of start picking it up on bee calls and swarms. So
Yeah, and he found us on the Book of Faces.
yeah,
Yeah, because when I opened it up for a minute a little while ago, he had gone through and liked the page and like the last 15 posts put on there all in a row.
okay, we appreciate you, fella.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a phone call and it said Pennsylvania, and if it's anything out of town, it gets rejected because all the telemarketers and scammers, and she gets mad because I stay on the phone with the scammers. So
he just gives me a headache the way he gives them the runaround.
You're gonna waste my time, I'm gonna waste yours too.
Mm-hmm.
But so I ignored the Pennsylvania call. Then I got a text message with a video, and I was like, I'm not clicking on none of this junk. Well, then I seen somebody left a voicemail, and anyway, looked at it. Fellow said he was right down the road. He just moved in from, I don't know, up north Pennsylvania, I guess, up there somewhere. Been down here, but probably gonna go after, well, tomorrow evening and go check out what he's got. Don't think that's going to be any kind of cutout or trap out. He was just more in the interest of, do you want to put swarm traps out? Because he found a colony in the bottom of an oak tree, and he's like, they're not bothering anything, or we're okay with them being here. We just wanted to know if a local beekeeper wanted to set up some swarm traps. And he got talking about some friends of his did it, and he kind of had an idea and wanted to get into beekeeping. So we went through that for a minute, but at least just go put some eyes on what he's got going on. So
it's not Ed.
Hmm.
He said, how's the trap out going?
No, it ain't working. They found a way in. The only ones not getting back in are them big old drones. There were several of them. We got the video. It's kind of extended video, or it will be by the time we get done with Lance's. So y'all can fast forward till we get to the cutout part if that's what you want to watch, or we just took a
Well, it depends on how long that cutout video ends up being. Might have to make it 2 minutes.
yeah, may have to do that. I tell you what we might do is just break that down into an update on the trap out part, because we done that. Then we took y'all through a ride through the old part of the town up there where Hannah's grandma lives, and we just jawing in the truck for a minute on that for the ones of you may be interested. And then yeah, most definitely go. We're gonna try to do a full video on that cutout over there at Lance's Mall. We'll do your prayer list, and I'll get into beekeeping news for a minute, and we'll open up the chat. Anybody y'all want to come in? If not, we'll talk about drones tonight and not the M's in the beekeeping world.
Okay, we got Mr. Mark Miller, Ed and his wife, Miss Chris, the Dirt Rooster's dad, Mr. Pat, Miss Deb, the Sun Bunny, Bob's friend Jason Cooper, Grammy Lisa, we got her son and 2 granddaughters on here, Bob and his family, Mac Apiary Bees, Tom's mother-in-law, Mr. Donnie, Michael Tangway's wife, Miss Cindy, Miss Carla Green, DC's parents, and y'all say an extra prayer for his mom. They found a new spot. I forget where he said it was, of cancer that she's gonna have to start new treatments for. David Hoskins' granddaughter Emma, baby Luca, the Brown and Daughters Beekeepers in Israel, Pam's Garden, her friend Mindy, and then these are all Phillips people. His mama, his cousin Lorinda, his mentee, Miss Rachel Wilson, her best friend, Deanna Wheeler, and his Phillips' mother-in-law. Sarah's daughter, Crystal, she's got surgery coming up in a couple weeks for that hernia she's been fighting. The Jennifer Brown family, Russell Amon's wife, Miss Brenda, Queen Bee's Honey, Jeremy and Valerie's little baby, Isaiah, Bobby's Bees and his family, Minnesota Mike and his friend, Mr. Vincent, Kennedy Bowman, my family, if y'all don't mind keeping them in your prayers. Ed's dad, Mr. Mike Brown, that he said he's doing much better, but we're going to leave him on here just to keep that good spell going for him, Lord willing. Aaron Frederick, Mr. Larry and Miss Sherry Gandy, and Mr. Larry's mama, the Cheryl Faulkner family, Keith Larimore, Hillbilly Earl, Ansby. You want to keep them on?
Yeah, because he's having some struggles still.
Ian Stepler's Bees, the Paris family, Philip's friend BJ and his wife, and then Icy Mountain Honey. Miss Sandy has a young family member with meningitis. Our buddy Lee, Created with Tuck, Pieces of April, the Pescatarian, the Montalbano family, Bruce with his bees, his granddaughter in Korea needs prayer. Minnesota Mike's brother Dave, Steve Amos's brother, Danae's grandmother, Minnesota Mike's cousin Mark has a broken leg. Spanky, what's his name? The filament corner. He has been suffering with migraines here lately. DC. No, didn't you say Jerry was your brother that you added last week?
He put a thing on. He said my older brother had a heart attack, but they detected the chemical produced. But by the grace of God, all tests showed no damage.
Oh, wow. That's amazing, DC. That's awesome to hear. I'm gonna make an update on that. And then the Heffley Hives. DC sent us an email about them, but they were severely affected in the wildfires out in Texas, and they lost a lot. So y'all definitely be in prayer for them.
I'm gonna touch on that. I don't know if they're watching, maybe in the background or something like that, but if y'all are, I don't know if, or I don't know if just the comment didn't go through or the comment got deleted, and if there was any offense to what I had written in that comment. I honestly hope y'all didn't take it that way, but the Heffley's Hives, if y'all go watch their video, it's about 45 minutes long, but watch it from beginning to the end. It goes through everything that they went through with them wildfires out there in Texas, and those folks lost many a hive due to that. And
PC said they lost 2 whole yards.
yeah, I think by the time it was roughly, I think about 100 hives, what they lost, probably maybe more on that, because there's like 40 in one yard, 50 in another yard, and whatever the final numbers are on their end. But we had reached out to them this morning after DC had sent us that, and was just telling them, say, look, if there's anything that we can do on our beekeeping chat to help y'all, we praying folks, we pray for y'all, or we know the beekeeping community all together, we can, I don't know whether it's prayer or, folks want to make a donation. I don't know their situation, whatever the case may be. That was basically the summary of what I had put in there. And I told them, we do a Sunday beekeeping live chat every Sunday at 7:00. So I don't know what happened to the comment. I went back to look at it and it was no longer on there. So either way, pray for those folks. They in a bind, and from watching the video, it's just devastating. I couldn't imagine, 100 or so colonies and that being your livelihood and it just being wiped away in literally a matter of seconds. Because in the beginning of the video, if you look at the timer, it's not, there's a couple places where it's sped up, but very few places where it's sped up. And you're thinking, there ain't no way that fire's moving that fast, whenever, yes, that fire was moving absolutely that fast. Now, they put this in their video as well, but just as a disclaimer, if you are squeamish or tender-hearted toward critters, whenever the man tells you to fast forward, you need to do so, because there's some pretty unfortunate things that happen to livestock and all that, and he shows the outcome of what happened to some of the livestock and stuff. But y'all continue to pray for him either way.
Thank you, James.
Oh,
I appreciate
Thank
that
you, bro.
very much.
well, who gets
Um,
gifted here? Has it showed us yet?
mhm. Let's see, Randy, Michael Fight, Carl, Grammy, and William.
Bingo. There you go,
Thank
y'all.
you very much, James.
Hey, old Michael Clark, he is killing it with swarms too. Been catching
Yeah,
his
he
video.
said he's got 4 already. Or he was working on his 4th one. It was way back up in the comments.
I know old Rodney Middleton, he's probably up to about 77 or 80 about now, knowing that dude. Um, but all right, let me get into my beekeeping news here.
Ed caught him another swarm. He said he's loading the video now.
Awesome, bro.
Minnesota Mike, it was Hefley Hives.
HEFLEY
Mm-hmm.
hives. Y'all go support them, if you will. Subscribe, leave them a comment of encouragement, something along those lines. But with all that being said, DC,
Oh, just joined too.
there's a,
James, you were awesome. He
that's 3 months. Well, thank you, brother.
yeah,
3-month membership.
moving on up.
Well, that's how long we've had membership now, ain't it? 3 months?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Don't
But thank
make
you,
me
brother.
laugh.
We sure appreciate that. Very, very much. Just go show them folks some encouragement on that either.
Mhm.
Now, I know probably a bunch of y'all may have already seen this, but sitting down watching some videos yesterday. Well, let me get back up to DC. DC, thank you much. We had this conversation yesterday at Ed's Live. I have seen DC in South America and Scotland, everywhere around here in the States. And he's always there just, commenting and being a blessing to many of us here in the beekeeping world. So, DC, appreciate you going all over the place and doing that and letting us all know who's in a bind or, may need prayer along
He
those lines.
definitely keeps us informed.
Yes, he does. We thank you, brother, on that.
He's a Dixie the world traveler.
Oh, that joker's all over the place. I'm not gonna lie, I've hit just to hit the comments and I've just scrolled down
Looking for DC's name.
and bam,
He
he's
does.
in there. But beekeeping news. This is what we was watching yesterday.
Mm,
And many of y'all probably maybe already subscribed to these folks, but
I was drooling watching this video.
it had just popped up on our feed, and that's the first time we had seen them or watched any of their videos. But they seem to be some good old folks, good family oriented business, but in the beekeeping business as well. But Central Beekeeper Supply, and I think they said they're out of Arkansas up there. But y'all, let me tell you what. Go check out the massive swarm video they put out just a couple days ago.
That's like the biggest swarm I've ever seen. I would die if we caught a swarm that big, y'all.
It was awesome. I mean, I'm going to shut up because I usually, what do they call that? Give it away.
Oh, yeah. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
That's buttons.
But y'all go check them out on that. That was pretty cool if y'all like watching folks get them swarms. This is rarer than seeing big feet out in your backyard right here. Lee at Kodiak Farms was spotted out in his yard working his bees.
He made a video.
He made a video, people. Not just a live, but a video out there in his bees. And
Y'all should check that one out too.
Absolutely. Everybody on here we mentioned, y'all go check them out. But that one colony, Bubba, that joker is getting.
Yes, Keith. Well, no. Yeah, it's definitely much rarer than the M word. So we're going to move on from that word.
Y'all know how hard it is not to say that word.
Keep
right
moving,
now.
buttons. or it's gonna start being snot tub tonight.
Mm. Ian, if you're watching, we know you're dealing with a bunch of crap. I couldn't leave that one alone. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was too much of it.
Yeah. But I was watching his video how they're doing some kind of science and trying to figure out what's going on. And apparently they think some kind of infection, I guess the way he put it, is in there. Yep. He can explain all that in his video and you get more than what I'm trying to tell you here. But, Mr. Mike Berry, last video he put out, I think today, the potential of European foul brood in one of his colonies. So had the state beekeeper guy from Louisiana, or the dude was retired, but he come out to help Mr. Mike and went through. And once again, I don't want to give it all away, but let me tell you what, that dude was just nailing it. Bam.
The Miss Jane and them said they love watching the Central Beekeeper.
Dude,
Uh-huh.
we're definitely gonna check them out. I like their style and just the way they just seem to be good people. You know, the good old country folk help you out any way they can, and
they seem like Miss Leona, the kind of people you just sit down and chat with. Lee said, I think that was an imposter. Someone must have hijacked my channel.
There's something going on. I about fell out my chair when I seen that one. It was almost one of them hollering at you across the room.
I think he did holler at me. Hey, Lee put a video out. Oh, Jasper.
Another pretty cool video. Jeff Orchoff, Mr. Ed. And I know a bunch of y'all probably seen this one too. But that massive open air colony. Now, he did have somebody lift him up in like a boom truck, if you will, or a big old forklift.
She's brave enough.
But they had a solid metal lift or platform.
He's brave enough.
I think, you mean
like a scaffold looking platform one?
Well, it's kind of more like a deer stand platform made out of iron, if you will, that you can run forks through. But good time, Charlie. He did not seem to be real impressed. He would have been more on your end of things of, let's get this over with and get me down on the ground. And I think Mr. Ed was just having a blast being up there and doing that. But that was pretty cool seeing that big old colony.
Bill said he had a rodeo clown lift him up.
Yep. Sure was. I wish that he showed that big old bull out there and said that bull looked at Mr. Ed ride like, as if it was a Tonka toy or something. Pretty much it doubled the size of that little minivan thing he's got. Sarah's Happy Hives. She worked on her first split.
She put out some good videos this week.
And didn't she get it in her horizontal box?
Yeah, she said they're growing. And she did the split on colony. She's seeing drones in another colony.
So she's moving along well. So hopefully a lot of y'all are starting to thaw out and being able to do a little bit in the North Country up there.
Yeah, what did I tell you? She texted me something was blooming.
I can't
remember what it was.
Maybe she'll pop in here and tell us in a minute.
Yeah, I haven't seen her this evening. I hope everything's okay with Steven.
Let's see. Brian C. He had a good, this has always interested me. It's kind of, I guess it's just a different way of beekeeping a little bit, but they was working on a rooftop hive. And it looked like maybe around a college or something along those lines. But they was going through doing the split, and he was very informative clear spoken and helping, I'm going to say, a younger gentleman, what it looked like through the veil there, but helping that old boy out, what to look for, how to place that frame in there, not damage the queen cell, look for mites on them drones. I mean, he went through, I mean, he was quick about it, but enough detail for that fella to pick up things he needs to be keeping an eye out for on that end. Then we discussed this a minute ago. Michael with Square Pants reaching out to us on the prayer list. Thank you again, brother, on that. Then I jumped the gun on DC.
Imagine that.
But thanking DC for going all around the world. And,
what did he say? The one that travels, the beekeeper that travels? Something.
The world traveling beekeeper. May not be gone so far now.
Yeah, DC, the world traveler. And then Lee said, what did he say? I think Hannah should ride in the forklift basket. Told him I think Hannah's going to pass on that one.
I don't know if I'll ever get her in an aerial, anything else again.
Not unless I'm driving.
Because she don't like the fact that whenever she questions me about have you ever run one of these things, then I tell her no. Then that creates pandemonium in her world. And
I don't like the fact that we're jerking through the air at 20 feet above the ground when you tell me you've never run these things before.
But we made it. We'll do it again.
Oh, James, that's cool. He said he got his Honey Stick Junior straw filling thingy.
Sweet. Who was that? Somebody else was talking about. Was it the Tom and Melissa VIA talking about they was filming them on Ricky's channel the other night? Something like that.
I can't remember. I think so. Somebody was not long ago.
Then let me know if I leave somebody, because I'm thinking we're leaving somebody else out. But Sean Bautiste. Bauters. Thank you, but let me grab it. Where's that at? Yes, sir.
On the top shelf on that thing. He hadn't let me open this.
No.
I think he's paying me back for hiding DC's honey from.
That's exactly what I'm doing, people. But we got to jawing one evening about, for the ones up here, ones of you up there in the North Country that get on that maple syrup. And long story short, when I was a younger fella, little bitty thing, I was 7, 8 years old. My second cousin.
Years ago.
My second cousin lived in Michigan. And every year he would send us a gallon jug of pure maple syrup. And it wouldn't last no time in my world. I wanted waffles and pancakes every time Mama would get in there in the kitchen and make them things for me just for that maple syrup. And God love him, Sean and them, remembered, I guess, me just talking about that and said, hey, we're going to send you some. Well, I had no idea that whenever he sent it, it was going to be, y'all check it out. That's what he sent to us. Pure Michigan cane syrup. I mean, cane syrup. I'm used to our syrup. Maple syrup. Sent it down here to us. But when I opened that package up, this is the exact same style, color, scheme, whole everything. 30 plus years old.
I don't think I've seen Sean in here tonight, but if you catch it on the replay, man, it blew his mind. That was another one of them. He yelled at me from across the house. You gotta see this.
It did. It took me back to being a youngin' and, you know, them good old days of being a kid and just different things you enjoy. But yeah, appreciate you, brother. You sending that to us. we're very much going to enjoy every last drop of it. I might let Hannah try a little bit of it.
We got big shots in the house this evening.
Who's in here now?
Mr. Tommy's brother.
Tommy's brother's in
He
here.
just dropped in.
Boy, what you up to there now?
Mike, it's been he said, does anybody tap maples here?
I don't think I.
It's mostly
do.
cane syrup down here.
Yeah.
That people make.
Everything around here that I know. But I don't think we really got enough to warrant, or ours may not get big enough unless it's a sure enough old maple. But I don't know if there's a particular genetic of maple that you can pull that syrup from or what, but I've never heard of anybody pulling maple syrup down here. Everything that we've done or we've watched at like the little, I guess, community farm get-togethers. Now they'll have that old mule and that machine out there, and that old mule will walk around circles and circles and circles, and they'll just run that cane through that machine, and it'll squish it, and you'll see that sugar cane running down into a vat, and before you know it, buddy, they'll have it made up right there, and you get just some fine sugarcane syrup.
Tom, I bet that is good. He said they do maple and black walnut. And he's in where, Ohio?
I think so.
Yeah, and then Tennessee Tim said, I know people that tap sycamore here. That's a new one on me.
Yep. Interesting.
Russell, is like usually between January and March, we'll have cold snaps where we might go 2 or 3 nights in a row that it gets that cold. That then, I mean, our cold spells usually don't last more than a week at the most. And then it's warming up for a week or two. And we just kind of go up and down. Like between January and March. That's when we get the majority of our cold weather. But it never stays that cold for, like I said, a week is pushing it to stay that cold.
Joey, is it the smell of the cane syrup that runs you off?
It's not a very pleasant smell.
But that man said, no.
But Lord, y'all, sorghum molasses. That was my daddy's favorite coming up. I couldn't stand the smell of that stuff either. But buddy, he would he would drown hot biscuits in sorghum molasses and then chase it with a glass of buttermilk. I'm like, Daddy, you can tell he was raised on a dairy farm.
I watched a video of some folks making that molasses up there in Tennessee. I think it's in Tennessee, Kentucky, up in that area. But it's a family-owned business, and they kind of reminded me of like Mennonites or the Amish culture, I guess, or somewhere along those lines. But it's been in their family for a generation or 5, and that apparently that's a big deal up there.
Didn't we give Lee cane syrup?
Yeah, we sent.
You didn't like it, Lee? He said, I still have that bottle.
No, we sent Larimore a big bottle of cane syrup.
We gave Lee some kind of syrup.
It probably some of that cane syrup.
That's what I thought. What was it? Steve said sorghum cooked over a wood fire is outstanding. I gotta be in a mood for it. And it's a rare occasion for me to be in a mood for it.
Who was Kelly sent you?
Yeah, she sent me my little doily thing. I hadn't seen her in here tonight, but I bring it every day. Miss Kelly, that me and Lisa and Sarah went on the crocheting lives with her a few times. But I won a giveaway on her channel. And I don't even think Tim was wearing a shirt. I was in there by myself, like a big kid.
I was going to mention that one too. I'm glad you brought it up. But
I told him you were wearing that shirt all day long.
Honest to goodness truth, y'all.
Literally, he was wearing it. And he put the little hashtag in and got up and went to the back. Not even thinking we'd win. And next thing I know, they're talking about it's gun line B.
I mean, she coming there hollering at me. Didn't you have your Kodiak shirt on? I said, well, I said I had the Let Your Love Flow shirt on all day today.
I was like, that's it.
So
that's what happened.
If y'all want to win them giveaways, holler at Lee and go get you a Kodiak Farm or Let Your Love Flow shirt. And there's a chance that you'll start hooking up on them giveaways. Because 9 out of 10, I ain't joking, 9 out of 10 times.
He's wearing that shirt.
I have it on.
Ian Stepler's in the house.
No, Tommy's brother and Ian is here to see him. We got
lots of big people.
Appreciate y'all, everybody.
Oh, there's Blaine.
That Texican. Blaine, are you still doing your entrances, your 3D printed entrances?
Yes. Who was it? Danae?
Danae and maybe
Jack and Danae?
Maybe DC or somebody else was wanting to know about them. Or they was looking for entrances. But we was trying to tell them about yours, but didn't know if you was still printing in puppies or not. If you are, put an email or a contact of some sort for anybody wanting to get with you. I would say I grabbed one, but they all out there in the lean to show y'all.
Oh, he said yes and no. I'm looking at switching material.
Okay.
Hang on, I need to get a coffee.
Okay.
I'm fading again. You know, I can grab from the chair some stuff.
She was dead to the world when I woke her up at 6:30. She was like, "It's 6:30 already." Yeah, yep.
Oh, not happy about it.
She wasn't real happy.
But like I said, I get a 6-hour nap this morning.
No. All right. Well, tell you what, we'll open up the chat, and y'all want to come in here and tell us about it? Come on. If not, I've got a little bit to. We talk about drones, and maybe so. We'll see. Don't want to put the pressure on folks. All right, y'all bear with me. Did it go? Yep. All right. Bingo. Number 10, that puppy. All right. There she is. But I may just kind of start getting on that a little bit. If anybody comes in, I'll back off of it a little. But I think this one was 1889 of the American Bee Journal, but we're trying to find something a little bit different to come up with besides. I'm not going to say it. Of the same thing, the repetitive planes, workers, drones, critters, feeding, and all. But did find an article. It's in for the ones of y'all that like to go back and check these out. Volume 18, number 28 of the American Bee Journal. But are drones really any kind of use besides following the queen out and nature doing what nature does. And stumbled across this article and found it quite interesting as far as the drones potentially being a little more helpful in the colony than besides just a sole purpose of eating all the food, then following her out for their rendezvous.
Yes, I just came
Who's that?
in. Hey, Brad.
Okay, John. Hey, now. Good to see you back in here, brother.
Yeah.
I rummaged through one of your I guess your last video earlier in the week dealing with a couple of those hives that seem to be a little hot and a little fussy with you. Hopefully you can get them girls cooled down a little bit.
Ed's trying to get you in trouble, too.
What he said.
Where'd it go? He's Ed and Phil. Everybody's getting added to the list. Ed said, "You can say the M word now." She walked away. And then Phil said, "Quick, Hannah's gonna say the M word." I walked 10 feet into the kitchen, y'all.
Y'all trying to get me in some trouble saying
Some serious trouble. Danae said I was waiting for a plate to come fly. Now my coffee's ready.
I might not
Still in earshot, Ed.
I might not say it tonight. So
Keep on, buddy.
we'll see where it goes. I don't think the M word is in this here book because 100+ years before the M's got here. But
If it is, you better skip it.
okay. I'm going to butcher. I'm not even going to say this name because I'm going to butcher it before I even get started in it. But if y'all do happen to look this up and you want to go back and read it, like I said, volume 18, number 26, American Bee Journal. And it's about 3/4 of the way through the paragraph or the story. And it's quite the extensive article. This dude just drug out. I'm terrible about dragging out stories, but this fella just beats me as far as dragging out a story. But to shorten his up, it says in the forthcoming translation of Dyerson's
Where are you at?
right there.
Zires.
Zires, and there's a D there.
Just
Silent.
a silent D.
It's a silent D. Okay. Zires, or whatever. Rational beekeeping would be found a remark by the author to the effect that drones serve no purpose beyond the fertilization of queens. And to this we have taken exception as follows. We cannot accede to the author's assertion that the fertilization of queens is the sole purpose of drones' existence. It is well known that when a swarm has left a hive, there is often but a handful of worker bees left at home to care for the huge mass of brood in all stages that the hive contains, and should a cold night follow a swarming day, as in often case, this handful of workers would find it impossible to maintain the necessary heat in the hive, and there would be great loss of brood and bee life. In this condition of things, the drones, the great majority of which stay at home, and it's got into what parentheses there, a few accompany a swarm, are of immense service. And they're talking about the drones now. They're of immense service maintaining heat, which otherwise the few workers would be compelled to generate for themselves, and setting the latter free to nurse the newly hatching larva. It is true when the young queen has hatched and been fertilized and the weather becomes cold, the drones are slain. But at the time, there will be little, if any, unsealed brood in the hive, while thousands of young bees will have to hatch into life, rendering the hive populous and the drones unnecessary. Nor must it be forgotten that drones are not usually slain until cool weather sets in, or in otherwise until the honey harvest has ceased, a fact upon which is hinged a belief in our mind that they are of service in helping to evaporate the honey prior to it being sealed in winter store. May have noticed a large number of drones often to be found in supers, and though it is generally supposed they are all there as consumers only, it by no means follows that such is the case. The old saying, give a dog a bad name, etc. I don't remember that one. Give a dog a bad name. That's for my kind.
Probably.
Give a dog a bad name, etc. is fully carried out with the drones, and no one seems to seek for or believe there are any good qualities in them. Yet, as many will doubtless be able to substantiate, some of the best results have been achieved in hives whose drones were at least numerous. In that case, the thought has been if the bees did so well with that immense number of drones to keep, what would they have done? What would they have not done without them? Question mark. Ignoring the possibility that drones may have what you got?
Your chat.
Assisted in procuring the good results. And it is not true that under the present system, with drone traps on during the honey harvest, may have caused a wait a minute. What idea? And it is not true that under the present system, with drone traps on during the honey harvest, many have cause to complain that their supers, though filled, are left unsealed by the bees. Question mark. We have hundreds of times seen bees return from the fields, give their honey to drones, and have as often seen drones with their heads in honey cells. It is certain that the drones in this case are not in a sense honey carriers. Question mark. We know they have no honey sacs and have as have the workers, but that will not make our suggestion ridiculous. The bees prepare the food for the nursling bees in their stomachs. May not drones prepare honey for storage in a similar way? Question mark. They have no honey sac to collect it in. Their duty laying at home except on special occasions at certain hours of the day. Bee autonomists who search only for what they hope to find may perhaps overlook truths that have not been suggested, but let the influence be what it may, no pun intended. We cannot believe the drone to be as useless as he is accredited. So, what y'all reckon? Y'all think that old drone just hanging out, getting his belly full and heading out? Or is he actually serving a purpose in that colony, keeping it warm?
I mean, think about how much body heat that thing's going to generate.
Oh,
Like 3 times the size of the girls.
well, I mean, he sounds like a 57 Buick whenever he comes out of that joker,
Mhm.
flying around you. If you can most definitely tell, I know you kind of start picking up on things like that, but you can hear a worker zoom by you. Then you can hear a drone coming by you, no problem. And it's obvious the difference in tone that he has compared to the sound of that worker. So, do y'all reckon he's taking and whenever that worker comes in, all right, We'll just say they swarm. Y'all quit. We're on TV. All right, you got a colony that has swarmed. You got so many left behind. Most of them are going to be your nurse bees and your drones. You'll have a few of your workers coming back from the fields. All right. Well, since your numbers are down, do you reckon that they are passing off the nectar to the drone and he's taking it and putting it in a cell to be placed?
It said, I know your hive is healthy if they're there.
Okay. On top of, we know, well, I'd imagine with good certainty, like you said, that they can definitely produce probably a larger or a greater amount of heat
Mm-hmm.
in the colony, especially if, everybody gets clustered together
Mm-hmm.
and, they go to warming that colony up, trying to keep the brood warm in there.
Russell broke the rule.
Did he say the M word?
Oh, he said the M word.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Don't kick him out on this one.
This is your warning strike, Russell.
You've been warned, Russell.
No, he did have a legit question.
What?
If they like drones better than the drones are keeping the workers healthier. If those are attaching to the drones.
Okay, if the M's, like I say, y'all bear with me. I can't say the full word tonight. So if the M's are going to the drone, absolutely. You're not having that issue on your workers, depleting your workers down.
I'm not going to lose it this time, DC. That's why I gave him a warning strike. No, but Joey had the drone's probably eating and losing half of it on his way to the cell.
Just being clumsy.
He said, I got time to hide by the time she gets here. Yeah, Steve said, Russell to the naughty spot.
What else did I get on to about that in here?
Blaine, are you serious? He said he saw a sign on the road that said Eclipse parking $200.
But you are cash in on that. Use your neighbor's lane too.
I want to know who in the world is going to pay $200 to park in one certain spot to see that.
Just think about it. That's their version.
About it.
That's their version of the people down here paying $200 for a parking spot during Mardi Gras, and that's no joke. A parking spot. People paying that kind of money. But there's enough folks that, as old saying goes, you got more money than sense. I'm not that one.
No.
It'll be cool to see, but
no.
If it happens, it'll be
wow.
here at the house. I'm not.
Phil said people are camped out already.
Oh, I believe it.
That's another one of them, like, just bless your heart. Steve said rich city slicker.
There we go. Yes, sir.
No, you're speaking my language, Steve.
I don't, like I said, we're not knocking the event. It'll be cool to see, but we're just
but that's
not.
An outrageous amount of money to pay to park somewhere.
That's a nuke, or that's 60 more frames, 5 more boxes.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
A lot.
That's halfway to an everything be back. Or where else can I go?
That's very true, Bob. He said for some people having more money than sense is not hard.
Oh, you right about that? Yes, sir. All right, so we have come to the conclusion of
He said, "No, I don't even have a lot of money, Bob." Yeah, that's true, Phil. That's half a tank of gas.
yeah, ain't that, well, yeah, fill up our truck. Yeah, it'll be $100 to fill our truck up.
That would be 2 tanks of gas, not a half tank of gas.
2 tanks. Look, ain't nobody got time for that.
He said, "I do 10 math."
Thank you, whoever that was.
Steve.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Oh man.
I don't get on here to tell y'all I'm an educator, man. Oh, wait a minute. Here. Well, I don't know if I should read this one.
What?
Remember me telling you about the mule story?
Yeah, you better skip that one.
Yeah. I'll give the highlights of it. There's a story. It's in the same American Bee Journal, volume 18, number 26. But the headline of it says, "A mule's amusement with bees." I'll read up until the point before it gets to that part, because I got to turn the Wi-Fi on. What?
How are you going to finish the story? Then you can't read half of it and leave them hanging.
Well, people will get the idea when I get to that point.
Or just don't get inappropriate.
I mean, it ain't nothing vulgar or anything like that, but well, I got to turn the Wi-Fi on for it to pick up the other half of it. But apparently, out in California, yeah, out there.
I think Bob's here.
My
bad, man.
Knocking on the door.
Did not hear the doorbell.
There you go. Shut Tim up.
I was like, is this link working?
Hang on. All the volume was turned down.
There you go.
Try again.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah,
Bingo.
now again.
I'm just making sure that link was working.
Thank you.
Okay, Ian. You're going to get on my list too.
Did he say the M word?
No, he asked what's the M word.
Oh.
It's like Beetlejuice. You say it 3 times and they just show up.
Oh, it's not happening in my house tonight.
Somebody let Ian know what the M word is.
Oh, they're letting him know.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. The little M's that none of us like.
Say the M without saying the M. So
no, Blaine, you're gonna get put in timeout too.
Have y'all changed your name now to gunlines.um? You see, that's twice. It says gunline.
There we go. That sounds much better.
Does it really? No.
I took it down.
Okay.
We might be able to discuss it on the next one.
I doubt it. Y'all are pushing it tonight.
He said the word in the middle of his sentence.
That's IGHT.
You're hilarious. Blaine said I'm always in timeout. It's regular time.
Well, what's happening up there in them Carolinas?
Well, I did a little about 2-minute video today. You know how Brad says that foundation is not space for the bees. They don't see foundation as space. So like when you have a colony that's they're too big and you think they're going to swarm, so you'll pull some comb out and drop some foundation in to hopefully help with that. Well, I did a little thing with those nukes, and some nukes I put 5 frames of undrawn foundation, just brand new frames foundation in the box with them. And some of them I put 5 frames of comb from another box. And the ones that have comb, they were working all the way out to the outside on those boxes. And the one with foundation, they were still on the same frames they came in the box, in their nuke box with in the middle. They didn't expand out or anything. So yeah, I found it was quite interesting after a week of being in there that they were just right in the center still. So, yeah, it was pretty eye-opening when you look at them side by side. You know, when you first start and you put all you have is foundation, so you put that in there and it just takes some time. But if you have comb, any comb to put in with them, it definitely seems to help them as far as getting out and starting to clean up the old comb. And she's already started laying in those other frames to expand the colony. But if you don't have that and they start to have to draw comb before she can start laying, it's kind of slowing them down quite a bit. And several of them didn't even move off of that original nuke frames that I put in the middle. So it was just an interesting little thing. Of course, then I pulled those foundations and dropped comb in them after a week to get them to go.
Did you do like a checkerboard by chance? Just say like, you got comb for one, then foundation, then comb.
Yeah, so I did. I mean, no, I took all the foundation out, and I just want them to make that single deep as strong as they can, as quick as they can, right? And then I'll put then I'll pull up a frame and drop one down and put a box of foundation on it for them to draw the whole thing out. That ground zero colony, they are in the top, and they've laid on the frames that were in there, and they did start drawing some comb up there for her to lay in. So it's they're a different animal than they were last September when they were about dead. So they're looking good. Everybody's looking good. South Carolina women's basketball won the national championship today, undefeated season. So I've been following them all year long. And it's just been, interesting. Tomorrow is the day I go turn my work phone and keys in at the job.
Game over, huh?
Game over. So we're gonna keep some bees and see what the rest of this year brings. And if I have to, I'll take my talents elsewhere. But right now, I'm blessed to be in a position that I can do that. Right, a lot of people get stuck in a position that they can't make a move or they can't do something because they got to have every dime they got from the job they got to, you know what I'm saying? Move. And I'm not wealthy, but I've got some room to move. And Amy's getting ready to start back at a job part-time. So it gives us a little bit of wiggle room there to work with.
I got you. Tell her we say hello whenever we get done with all this.
I will. She's in there on her computer doing whatever she does in there. So, just yesterday I'll tell you what, man, if you've got people older than you in your life, and I mean, and I know you guys have some people like this as well. Yesterday, I spent all day with Mr. Sam. Right. So I went over there. I mean, it was like 9:30 in the morning. I called him. I said, hey, instead of you coming over here to get this sugar, let me just drive my truck over there and we'll just fill them in your yard. And that way we don't have to load them and unload them and do all that. It's less work, right? We just move them from where we fill them over. He says, all right. So little did we know when I went over there, it was 49 degrees and that stuff was thicker than molasses. It was so slow. But it took us like 5 hours to fill 14 buckets of syrup, right? That's how cold the stuff was. So, but we sat out there and talked bees all day long and just hung out. And then when we got done, he says, well, what were you going to do today? I said, well, I was going to go through and mark queens of these nukes that I put in and check on them. And he said, you know what? I'll meet you over there. So he came over to my house and we went through every one of my, the main cluster of hives I have over there. And we just sat and talked bees, and I was going through and marking queens, and then it got to a point to where he got tired of watching. So he started working them, and I was just sitting there watching him work and asking him questions and picking his mind about stuff, and I I learned a lot just sitting there watching him work my bees. I learned he's a fan of the one-handed queen catcher. And we had a queen faint on us on the frame. And he was holding that one-handed queen catcher up on there. And
Hey guys, how you doing today? This evening.
pretty good. He was holding that one-handed queen catcher on there, and the queen wasn't coming up. And I was like, well, did you accidentally, pin her or catch a leg underneath the edge of it where she can't move? He's like, no, she could come up. She's just not. She's just sitting there. I said, uh-oh, did you accidentally squash her, Mr. Sam? No, I didn't squash her. He's getting all kind of frustrated. And I said, well, maybe you just pull it off and reset and go back with the one-handed queen catcher, right? And he pulls it off, and she's sitting right there, not moving at all. I was like, oh, Sam. And in the process, that I took my left-handed glove off, and I just grabbed her and put a dot on her and set her back on the frame. And he's like doing one of these numbers on her. And every time he would tap her, she would walk like 3 steps and stop, 3 steps and stop. And then all of a sudden she just went whoop down the frame and got out of his way, right? Playing possum with him. And he was there for like 3 or 4 minutes with this thing trying to get her. And I'm like, just picked her, dotted her, and put her back. And he's like, well, I used to be able to do that. So we just had a good time hanging out and, relaxing, man. Just yesterday was probably the most relaxed that I've been in months, as far as just didn't feel the burdens of the world, on my shoulders, as far as like my mom and the house and the job and all that stuff. It was just us 2 guys hanging out, talking bees and working bees, right? And it was funny. I didn't get stung. Well, I got stung one time because I was going to grab a queen and I accidentally grabbed a worker at the same time, and the worker got me, right? So I had to re-grab her. But it was other than that, Sam was getting tore up because he shows up in his coveralls and his work shirt and his little skeeter veil over his hat, right? I said, Sam, I don't know if you're armored enough for this job here. But, it was getting later and the sun was starting to go down and he was starting to get tagged a couple times. So it was, we were just joking and cutting up and having a good time with it, and it kind of got me back in that, gosh, this is going to sound so bad from a beekeeping YouTuber, but sometimes it gets to the point, and it might just be with everything and not just beekeeping, but it got to a point to where when I first started, beekeeping was just fun. Every time I went out, I was having fun. And then this past year, I'd go out there and beekeeping wasn't that fun when I went out there, right? It became a chore, right? And now it's starting to feel more like an enjoyment does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, where you get
Yeah.
out there and it was just feeling like, man, I need to do this, but it's that chore. Well, I'll get to that after I've mowed the grass and burnt this wood and took out the trash and done everything else, right? It was the one that you just kind of pushed to the end. And, this weekend it was more, hey, I was enjoying it and had a good time, just able to flip a bucket over and sit down and really look at the bees. And, one of the nukes that we checked out had some deformed wings and stuff. So we crushed all those worker bees we found with deformed wing, put a bit of Appy tablet on it to hopefully help clear some of that up. We'll see. I don't know if it will or not, but it's all I've got to use for it. So that's what I put on there, and I mean, all of those nukes looked really good. Just, sold a little bit of honey, sold a couple nukes this last couple days, literally 2 nukes. And I told him, I said, look, I bought these nukes for me. If you need 2 nukes, that's how much they are. And I just gave them the whole thing, just like I picked it off the truck, right? I'm like, you got them just like I got them. Here you go. And just had a good time, man. That's it. It's just DC said, refocus on enjoying it. And I do enjoy talking about it, and I enjoy working the bees, but just my life is in the last, I don't know, 6 months, 7 months has just been kind of chaotic. And so I'm trying to take some stress out of my life, starting with job tomorrow, gone, and we'll get back to it, and make things happen. I don't like to wait for things to happen. I like to try to make them happen. And sometimes that puts a lot of stress on you, And I mean, Tim and Henny, you guys know, and I'm sure Ed, too, but when you are the one, or that everything in my world over here, everything revolves around what I do. I'm not saying other people around here don't do things that contribute to that, but if I don't make money, there ain't no money,
Mm-hmm.
It's that type of thing. And if there ain't no money, well, things kind of get wonky sometimes. So I try to create ways and make ways to make money, and that's what we're going to focus on. If I've got to Uber 4 or 5 nights a week, every night but Tuesday night, then that's what I'm going to do. And
A man should absolutely get out and take care of his family and his home, and do whatever you got to do to make an honest dollar. Yeah, I mean, you got to get out there and hustle either way. But if you're going to be any kind of man, you better step up on that end and take care of that.
Yep, it's and I think and not to take anything from the ladies, because I know there's plenty of ladies that do this. Hannah's hand in hand with you through everything, but that situation, and I'm sure she feels it, y'all feel it together in that situation, right? That if, hey, job didn't get done today, well, cell phone bill was supposed to be in today, but the job didn't get done today, so that means we didn't get paid on that job today, right? So it's
the way I look at it, when we said our vows in front of the good Lord, we became one.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
We share everything, including the heavy load.
But that level of stress that those things create in your life, for me with a heart condition, I can't have that stress. I gotta get away from it, right? So sometimes, like when I don't go live and stuff, it's not that I don't want to go live. It's that I just need to take a deep breath.
Well, we all got to decompress at some point. And let me kind of go back on a little bit of that too. Ladies, please don't take me wrong whenever I was saying that, because absolutely y'all do carry a heavy load along with us. And oftentimes y'all are the backbone whenever that man comes walking through the door, or whether you like Hannah and I, we work together, and she helps me in every kind of way, and she also takes my aggravations at work, I guess. It's not that I'm unloading on her. It's just, yeah. I mean, I get aggravated with work or whatever the situation is at hand, but once we roll them tools up and we get in that truck and head home, I drop every bit of that. About 20 minutes. By the time I'm down the road, 20 minutes, I done forgot about what was back there. And now it's time to transition over to whatever we got to do to get home.
In that aspect, Tim, because mine follows me. I mean, when something's in there, I can't get it out. I can't let it go, right? So that's the like give you an example. I'm gonna show y'all something. My messy room, but I'm gonna show you something. So my wife's computer died a few weeks ago, right? And I couldn't figure out what in the world was wrong with it. So now, down in my floor over here, I've got two computers. That's her old computer case with a brand new motherboard, processor, and everything. Another computer case with a brand new motherboard and processor and everything in it. So technically, I built two computers. I couldn't find out what the problem was, right? Boy, my desk is a wreck. But you know what? I ended up going and buying a brand new computer out of the box at the store and gave up on those because I was staying up late nights thinking about what is going on with this computer, and it just gets locked in there, and I can't get off of it.
You fixate on things.
What's that?
I said you fixate on things.
Yep, and it's hard, man. It causes me stress. Like,
you know, you should look up, Bob. I'm sure you've heard it, but if it's been a while, one of my all-time favorite hymns is "One Day at a Time." Look up the words in those lyrics.
I'll look it up. I've heard it before. Matter of fact, I think wasn't there a famous country singer redid it back 70 years ago?
I don't know.
I mean, there's somebody made him. Alan Jackson, is that part of Alan Jackson's hymn? He done?
No, I think it was a woman.
Ain't it?
Was it
Probably Dolly Parton.
Who?
I think Patsy Cline did a version of it.
Yeah.
That's probably the one I'm thinking of. But I mean, it's everything. So even like Brad, my buddy, right? His problem with his colonies. That kept me up more than it kept him up. Because as soon as there's a problem, I started trying to think, how can I help? How can I help? How can I help? How can I help? Right. And so you go down a rabbit hole with that. And that's my personality flaw. I've said it lots of times, right? On the stream, when I want to let things go, I can't let them go, right? Well, what is it that Tater Salad said, right? You had the cops told him he has the right to remain silent. He says, yes, but I do not have the ability. That is how my mind works. Yep, you're right. I probably shouldn't say anything, but since I'm not saying anything, I'll say it anyway, right? That's kind of how it works. But I just have to make some changes. So that's what we're doing.
It'll line on out for you.
So I appreciate it. It is a constant struggle with me. So we're just doing what we can, and got the bees ready to best I can get them ready for the moment. And I'm sitting at about 43 right now, and have 25 queens coming in. So in those 43, if I can take 2 or 3 frames of brood for each 25 queens, then that's 50 to 75 frames of brood in bees that have to be procured to put Jose's queens in when they get here.
Thankfully, we went on ahead around the end of November, early December, whenever we pulled the last of the supers off and what colonies got taken out with the beetles and all that stuff. We sat out there for it actually turned into about 2.5 days, but got all the frames cleaned up, knocked off all the propolis, scraped down whatever needed to be scraped down, cleaned the boxes up, and that way, when we transition to where we are now, all we got to do is maybe, and I'll probably try like Minnesota Mike and a couple others mentioned, getting a heat gun or blow dryer. And freshen that wax up a little bit. If we got to re-wax them, that's the extent of our workload and we can just go to, start stacking boxes and getting them ready for like them swarms. Oh, Ed, didn't you just get on a new swarm or something?
Oh yeah, today I went out there, had to cut the grass and stuff. So I was walking around just checking to see, just visually checking. They come boiling right out of that box. Come boiling out.
Hanley's
And
Homestead asked
you should like the video.
what my goal number was for this year. I don't have one. This the first year I didn't put a number on the number of hives that I wanted to get to. I've kind of changed my mindset that number really all it does is make me make stupid decisions, and it's not the number. It's my aspiration to get that number and not really consider what it's doing to the hives that I'm getting stuff from to make that number. Right? Does that make sense? So what I found is that if I say I need 50 colonies, then I split no matter what to get to 50 colonies. And what usually happens is I'm making my mother colonies 2 week. And by the end of the season, they're 2 week because I've worked all year to get 50 colonies. And I do have 50. But the problem is they're 2 week going into winter, and then I end up losing more than I probably would have if I would have just went with a lesser number and made sure they were really strong going into it. So so this year, my goal was to keep the colonies that came out of winter strong and try to stop them from swarming, which worked mostly. One of them just decided it was going to do whatever it wanted to do. And then I went ahead and added the nukes. So those nukes would have time in their box, fresh. Well, I was doing fresh foundation, but I pulled those out and put comb in to get them to build up. So if they're going to draw comb, I'll have them draw comb in a honey super, or maybe they can make some honey this year. And my real number is not in colonies, but in honey production. I want the honey numbers to go up. So if I make over 650 pounds this year, that'll be the best season I've ever had. And that's more important to me than actual physical colonies out there. Because in the end of the day, less boxes. If you can have less colonies and make more honey, that's better than having more colonies and making less honey.
Oh yeah.
Because you're doing more work for less reward. So just trying to condense it down a bit.
Okay. Well, Ed, if you caught your swarm, you got them.
Yeah, I got them. They're locked in the box right now. I probably should have moved them earlier, but I'm gonna leave them where they're at for the night. Probably do it tomorrow when I get off of work. But Bob, I like the video. It has some product placement in it that I wasn't really trying to do, but it was in there. It's like several times. Several times.
I'll check it out. I appreciate it.
Well, that ought to get you.
Yeah, there was one time.
18.
17 right now, not 18.
Oh my!
I'm at 17 right now. But that bottle was laying on the blanket where I knocked the bees off, and there's a big old group of bees on top. The girls were like all over that bottle, was laying there. And I thought it was funny.
They will go to it. It's just a matter of the funny thing is, and this is I have terrible luck catching swarms in my own yard. I can't catch a swarm in my own yard, and most of them that talking to the dirt rooster is that I'll go shake a swarm in a box with a frame of old comb or whatever, and I'll leave them locked up for 2 days, and I'll go back and check them. Yep, they look good in the box. And then on the third day, it's kind of like Easter. The third day, they rise and leave again. So, so it's
Yeah, but the thing is, they didn't come from the box. They came out of the box. They didn't go from box to box. They
Right.
bivouacked, and I had to get them.
That's it. That's how mine were. The bivouac. I shook them in and lock them in for a couple of days to get it nice and scented up, and then they still decided they wanted to take off. Well, hey Keith, I know where you can find a ton more of them bottles. Just saying, if you need one, I know where you can get them. Oh, check this out. So, when I was in Canada, Brad gave me one of these for marking. It's a paint stick. I don't know if you can see it. It's a paint stick, and allows you to write on top of the boxes, right? Like your wooden boxes, and leave notes like mated queen, whatever you want to write on there. It's not very, you're not going to write like cursive small, but it allows you to write notes on it. And that's a very useful tool. But last time I ordered marking pins, the guy at the Competitive Advantage people sent me this one. And it's the same deal, same paint stick deal, but it's got like a glue stick type of thing, so you can keep pushing the pin out as you use it up. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Bob, that's deodorant, sir.
But these things have come in handy to write notes on top of the wooden lid and stuff and because it's a paint, kind of like if you went to the junkyard, sometimes they'll have stuff written on the parts with something like this. It can rub off and come off over time, but just if you just leave it there, the weather and stuff isn't gonna burn it off. I do add drawn comb, and to be honest with you, I don't put a lot of traps up like out in the woods and stuff. I don't do that. Most of mine are right around my yard to just try to catch my own swarms. And then most of mine are people calling me, I got a swarm in my bush, and I go shake them in, right? So, yeah, lumber crayons. There you go. They sell those in 5 colors. Which ones? Those paint sticks? I don't know. He sent me this as a trial to check it out because I ordered two boxes of these. And they're in paper, so I mean these are good. I mean they work, but he sent me this one to try out, so I didn't know if that was something that I was going to add.
Oh, lid cramp.
I was like, are you
Leg
okay?
cramp hanging out of a tree. I just got a leg cramp. That's from hanging out that tree today.
Man down.
Drink you some pickle juice, man.
And I know that stuff works. Also, there's mustard. Put a little bit of mustard in your mouth.
Mustard do it, yep.
Then
What,
swallow it.
It just tastes better straight.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about using the markers like I think what they're trying to ask is if they're different colors. If
Oh,
they're
they might.
smaller, paint
might.
on the back of the bee.
Well, the other thing I did, and this is a Sam thing, and we were out there marking. So what we would do is we would take, let's say this was the end of a frame, right? On every one of the ends of the frames, we would make a dot on the same side. Like one side of the box would all get a color dot, right? He usually uses the year color of the queen that year, so he knows what year he put the frame in there, right? How old that frame is. But
That's what Blaine was just saying.
Mm-hmm.
but also, if you do that, then when you're doing an inspection, you know that all the colors need need to go in and line up the same way when you put that frame back in the box, right? So you're not accidentally, and I've done it before, right? I've grabbed a frame, I've looked at it, and I've spun it around a few times, and then I've set it in. And if the dot's the wrong direction, then I know that I've reversed it, right? I can just make sure all those dots are lined up on the same side, and you won't have to worry about rearranging the box on them. So like if you get a fat spot on one side, then when you flip it around, you're not putting that fat side on the wrong side against some brood or something like that. So
I was going to say, I appreciate you putting that up there. If nothing else, if Dirt Rooster was still in here, maybe he can kind of give you an idea of what all they use to.
Well, yeah, the 36 will go from corner to corner. If you got a big slab, the 26s will go from the top to the bottom of a medium. You know, if you have to put a couple across.
I just buy them in the big bag like this.
Yeah, the fat boy rubber bands. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they just get a big old. I think I got that on Amazon. Not that I use them a lot. I use them for other things, but.
How much that bag cost you for a big bag like that? You remember?
No, I could. Let me look it up for you. See if
Check
I can
it out.
find it out.
Usually the ones we find are just the old small.
Smaller bag.
Yeah, there ain't probably 10 or 20 in them little bags.
Let me see.
That's a good subject to bring up this time of the year too, Keith. Glad you could kind of give some folks an idea on what to pick up.
This work real well with cutouts.
They got them on Amazon. I mean, that looks about like what.
That's a good idea.
If you get the Amazon basic ones, you can get 600 rubber bands for $14.
Oh, heck yeah.
And 600 rubber bands, that's kind of like a lifetime supply of rubber bands for me.
Well, Steve Amos, appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Let's see who the lucky winners are.
Oh, Kelly got one. Tom, Bruce Brown, She is Sunshine, and Murdoch's Honeybee.
Well, congratulations, y'all, and thank you much, Mr. Steve Amos, for doing that for folks.
Appreciate that.
We're gonna have to go check out the Amazon or the.
Here, I'll drop a link in the chat there.
Michael Buck, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, it says size 33.
Oh, 33.
That one was, yeah. I don't know if these are 33s. I just bought these because I needed to have some, and I don't know that I needed 1.5 million of them, but I got them. So
I was gonna say to Michael Buck that the closest Office Depot to us is about 25 miles one way.
Yeah.
And we do our absolute best to stay away from the big city. So, yes, I soon stay up here in our piney woods as much as we can. When we have to go, we go. Don't get us wrong, but
I'll order on Amazon in a heartbeat to keep them.
that's true. But that's something we do need to get back on hand and get some rubber bands, especially the way the phone has been picking up the last few days as far as coming to check on bees and this and a swarm over here and all that. We even thought about calling, well, the little city where Hannah's grandma lives up there. That's the only one we thought about calling because we don't want to be all over the county doing this, but at least giving our number to their police department and saying, hey, look, y'all get a call on some swarms, we'll come get them.
hey, are you guys listed on did you do the Google claim your business thing for honeybees, or are you just doing word of mouth pretty much?
We've got some kind of a year or two ago. I'd done something on Google, but I think it's just like if you search beekeepers in this area. I don't know if it's on what you're talking about.
Well, when you claim your business as being a beekeeping business, a lot of times when people search beekeepers near me for either honey or bee removal or swarm catch, whenever they Google beekeeper near me, whatever's closest to them, those pop up, right? So a lot of times I'll get calls from that. Today I did actually get a honey sale from that. I deleted it, so let me see if I've got. I always forget that localhoney.net, I think is what it is. Trash, that's where it'd be. Honeyfinder.org. Sold a pint of honey off of that, so if you haven't registered with them, I would get a few of them off of there.
We don't blame her, Lee. Not at all.
I was fixing to type in. I don't blame her a bit, Lee. No, I'll drive like in the little town by the house, but if we go in the city, no. My blood pressure's too high just riding in that traffic. I ain't fixing to drive in.
Like whenever you get into downtown Mobile, most of downtown Mobile is like, well, Mobile and New Orleans are sister cities anyway. So a lot of it is set up. The buildings look the same, the French and Spanish look and all that. I mean, it's beautiful down there, don't get us wrong, but
yeah,
most of it is one-way streets.
Yeah.
So
and I'll get lost with a GPS screaming directions at me, but you throw in one-way streets and it's a recipe for disaster with Hannah driving.
no, it's one of them.
Happening.
I had that problem in San Francisco one time.
I ain't lost nothing out there.
I got off a bridge and I got off the wrong exit. Yeah, I got off the wrong exit off the bridge coming across the bay into San Francisco. I got off the wrong one, and I was like, where I hit was all one-way streets in the wrong direction. So finally, one place I saw was empty. I went the wrong way down a one-way street just to get back up to get on that highway again.
Hey, there still is a law on the books, and I was looking at crazy laws in Alabama not long ago, but in Mobile, there's still a law on the books that at nighttime, you can have your wife on the hood of that vehicle with a lantern and go the opposite way down the one-way street, but it's only at nighttime. But she's got to be holding that lantern on the hood
She's
of the
got to be
vehicle.
brave enough to sit on the hood of the vehicle with her husband driving.
True story.
Hey, did you tell anybody about that little restaurant spot I went to the other day?
Now go ahead and tell them about it.
So I went to a spot one of my coworkers was telling me about for lunch. And what made it even more special, which I didn't share this with y'all when I told you, Tim, but this last week was probably the worst week at work that I could have had. So it came at the best time it could have happened at, right? So it's a little country diner, and we went in there, and first time I'd been in there and my boss had been in there, we were sitting there and ordered our food, and we're sitting there talking, running our mouths, and she came up and she said, "Are y'all believers?" "Yes, ma'am, we're believers." She said, "Well, I want to say blessing for y'all." So the waitress at this place says blessing for every table that she comes to, which is the first time I've ever heard of anybody publicly in a public restaurant promoting saying the blessing as part of their service, right? So every waitress that comes to the table says blessing for people over the food. And which for me, it was perfect timing because I was not in the right mind before then, right? I was angry and upset, and that kind of brought me down a little bit, so that was a good thing for me that day. And then and then the funny part is that y'all know, especially Southern people, y'all really know, is that when it's time for blessing, it's time for blessing. Y'all don't quit messing around over there, right? So it's spring break time, right? And her kids were at one table, and the lady, it was her kids, her children. So she comes out there and she says, "All right, y'all, it's time for the blessing." And right in the middle of the restaurant, she says, "I said it's time for the blessing. Put them phones down." And I started laughing because I know they were one step from getting whooped right there in front of God and everybody.
Yeah,
Right?
That mom voice come out.
Floor. And the other people are there with their hamburgers, right, for their lunch, waiting on the blessing to get done or the beat down to ensue. One of the two things that was getting ready to happen. It served them up. So it was pretty fun. I don't know. I chuckled. Y'all would have chuckled too, because you guys probably been there before in your life too, right?
Oh, I had to bite my tongue, keep from busting out laughing.
Yeah. You go, Mama. You go.
That's it. She put it on them. So,
Hey, but some of them Southern women, if you do bust out laughing, you get in just as much trouble as them youngins
yeah.
do.
yeah, it was pretty funny that she turned from, "All right, y'all, it's time for the blessing. Put them phones down. Don't make me reach over there."
It'd be funny to have some adults on the side cheering the mama on,
What was it your mama used to get y'all in the back seat?
A buggy whip.
A buggy whip.
Yes. I am not taking that up. It's still over at my daddy's house. I think my grandpa actually bought it.
I used to get the fly swatter.
I had a flashback from
this
car.
I'm serious. I will have flashbacks when I run up on them things. Them suckers hurt. She wasn't kidding around.
But she was driving.
You don't want me to stop this car.
Oh, you don't want that to happen.
But that's why she got the whip. She didn't have to stop anymore. And I'm telling you, she had expert aim going at 60 miles an hour down the road. She could wear you out.
I think my dad had 8-foot arms. I sat behind him. He could just swing around and he could hit me at will wherever I was. Even if I was trying to, bob it or something, he'd be like, "Pow!" He'd still get me.
My mother was a master of what I call flop foo.
Flop foo?
Yeah, because she'd get you to flip flop, but she'd be across the room and you say, "Oh, she can't get you from over there," right? You look over, she's bending over, pulling it off, and then you just turn around. She ain't gonna get me. And by that time, she'd be able to go inside the head, and you look back over, she's putting it back on. And I'm like, how the heck did she get? How did she get all the way from over there to here, then back over there again?
And Danae says she's deadly around the corner with a flip flop.
Hey, I used to laugh at my friends when their mom would use a flip flop. Like, seriously, y'all scared of that? Don't you try riding with my mama?
Keith says his grandma used a privet limb, shed the skin, and then leave off and hold on.
That ain't no fun either.
Worst part when they used to make you go pick your own switch.
Yeah, grandma used to do that to me.
Bad switch. Had to have the right flexibility.
Yeah. You got the wrong one. They send you back out to get the right one.
Yep.
No, it's bad when they go back out to pick one. You only got so many times to play around with that, and it's over with.
Or you get to wait for your father to get home. My kids used to laugh.
One can hear.
It was
tell your daddy.
Well, by the time my daddy beat me, I already got beat by my mama, and probably whoever told her, right? What was going on?
I was about ready to say, yeah, whoever told her you're over your friend's mama's house, she done got you.
Yeah.
Your mama coming down the road mad as a wet chicken, ready to tearing you up all the way home. Say,
Yep.
wait till your daddy gets home. And then
My
by that
kid
time, you hear the wheels rolling.
I was like, you get beat by your neighbor, and she had your mama's phone number, so she would call up your mama. You wouldn't believe what I just had to do to these kids over here. And then you walk in the door, and you're getting beat as you get in the phone because your mama's embarrassed your neighbor had to call. And then wait till your mama gets home. Then your daddy beat you because your mama had to beat you because the neighbor beat you, right?
Oh yeah.
You go to school the next day, and you're kind of squirming in the seat, and they already know what happened. Oh, your mama got you, didn't she? Then your daddy and the neighbor. Oh yeah, get paddled by the principal. We called it the Board of Education because you get to the office and get paddled. And if you had a real mean principal, he would have drilled holes in that paddle. So you
That's
got
what I
You
did.
hear it whistling.
yeah.
You hear that thing whistling.
He said, I was
Then
an
you be a
angel
smart aleck.
to be whipped. And then he said, I should probably go report for that one. That's hilarious, CJ.
Grandma would
Then
give
you
me
become.
her kitchen knife to cut a switch and say, if you turn the blade, I'll whip you more. Yeah, that's yeah, I got some of them beatings until my dad got tired of beatings, and my dad didn't get tired too quick.
That's it, Steve.
Yeah, I laugh about it now. I laugh about it now, but I used. I
Yeah,
laugh
you
about
gotta
it now, but I
remember
used to cry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Janet doesn't know what you're making.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Janet, home still.
Oh, I'm still working on my honeycomb blanket, Miss Janet. This is my last patch of white, and then I got one more roll of yarn to get through, and I'll be putting this thing together finally.
You've been whittling on that thing probably a month now.
Girl, I'm making these patches in my sleep. No joke.
Michael Buck said the best I remember is my dad saying, "You made your mama mad. She made me mad. Now I'm gonna make you mad."
Hey, Danae, how did you miss that? Because they still whooped butt when I was in school.
She was probably good.
They broke
I
paddles
just never
on
got
me.
caught.
Yeah, it was tough road. My dad was like Indiana Jones with that military web belt, man. That thing, he could bring it off he could unbuckle, you could hear him unbuckling it, and he'd pull it out like a sword, and that thing would come flying out. And I swear he'd hit me one time as he was coming out, pow, and then he'd beat you around in a circle. If you went around a circle, that belt was just steady tearing it up.
Ooh, no, that's one thing I did not do. My daddy had a bad back. And if you even thought about running, son, you talk about put it on you. But I'm glad for every time that they put that switch in my behind and every time they put that belt on my behind. Some folks may watch this and go, I can't believe y'all talking about that abuse. But there wasn't no abuse involved.
We
That
call
Well,
was,
it
that wasn't abuse back then.
tough love.
that's it. They lining your tail out. I was telling Hannah a story not long ago. I was probably 6 or 7 years old, and my only living grandma that I ever met, we was going to her graveside service. And I remember very, very vividly my daddy telling me, because I would cut up with my little cousins. Well, they didn't get the belter switch, so they just done what they wanted to do. They was more of that 1, 2, 3, you better stop. Well, mom and daddy didn't count. You just do what I say. And
Now, you got a warning look and maybe one verbal warning if you were lucky.
that's it. You had better be on your best behavior. And whenever those words come out of mom and daddy's mouth, you knew what they meant.
Yeah, I mean, it was not a happy times.
That's
Well,
not from the tail end anyway.
I think I
Now
had
that-
one grandparent never put a belt to me, never spanked me, nothing. And there was nothing in this world I wouldn't do for that woman to the day she died.
Mhm.
She never laid a hand on me. I did everything she ever asked me.
My daddy only had to whip me one good time, and that was plenty. That has literally lasted me the rest of my life to this day.
I got it about one good time a week.
Yeah.
My mama,
A
but
week?
she'd be
Only once a
whipping me
week?
every day kind of thing. But it only took one time with my daddy, and that was it. So I like that today. It's not abuse, it's the school of get it together.
There you go.
It was, but you know what? You look back on it now. I'm not dead. Did all right. You know what I mean?
That's it.
So you can look at it as abuse, or you can look at it as good parenting. Because nowadays,
So good parenting.
Absolutely.
these kids are kind of out of control, and the only
That's
thing that
what
they
I
can do
learned
is that
from,
butt whoopings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there could
today
be
I
one
wouldn't. I
both
wouldn't
ways.
trust. I wouldn't trust a kid that said he's gonna shoot you. Better look. That kid's probably gonna shoot you. Get the heck out of there. You know.
Mm-hmm.
These things that I know what happens when you shot your brother with a frog in a slingshot. That's what I never did.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But I'm gonna be tempted to go buy me a slingshot now.
To see if you can shoot a frog.
Oh, my God.
That is hilarious.
That's it, James.
Next time me and my younger brother get together, but me and him, we still act like we're 10 years old. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna shoot the mess out of him with a frog and a slingshot. Zach ain't gonna know what to think when that.
We're going to have to put that in up there with Mark Miller in that shotgun situation. That was pretty good. Mm.
They don't hold up to the
I'll probably be laughing
acceleration.
about that all week.
Yeah.
Every time I see a frog, I'm gonna think about that.
I've
There's
actually got.
frogs all over my yard.
Oh my god. I mean,
I've
we had slingshots growing up, but we just picked up rocks or pine cones. I never thought to pick up a frog.
I could never have a slingshot. All I ever heard from Daddy was that thing to put your eye out. But he had no problem handing me a gun to go shoot.
Yeah.
Never got it, you know. Well, okay.
Golly, you know how many BB gun wars we got into after Mom and Daddy threatening us? Don't y'all be shooting at each other. But
It
it was,
just gave you the idea to do it.
yeah, cowboys and Indians with real guns. Buddy, it was on. Yeah, Keith, I don't. That grossed me out too much. My brothers would do that and cow patties. I wasn't fixing to touch that mess. I get me a rock.
I was just looking. I've got a photo somewhere in my Facebook
I
that had.
would always get on with it.
I don't know, but it always goes there at the end of the show. Somebody gets a whooping. It makes for a good laugh. We got through our beekeeping part.
I had a photo somewhere on my Facebook in all these photos that of my dad's that look that you say when you got that look as a warning. I've got a picture of that somewhere, and I'm and I got it saved to my Facebook so I can go back and look at that. I knew the whooping was coming,
Mm-hmm.
and now I can't find it. I'm gonna have to look.
Man, Steve Amos, I imagine them baby walnuts will put a welt on your behind. Good grief.
Felt like a frozen paintball.
Heck, I forgot.
Those hurt.
Yeah, they hurt.
I forgot.
Now, I know what we would do as a kid, and we called them. I don't know the real names. Somebody may know the real name of them, but we called them kookaburras.
Mm.
And they're like a sand spur on a stick, if you will. But we would pluck them things off and run up behind one another and just what?
Whiplash.
Yep, nail one
Rake
to the
someone
big
with
back.
them.
Oh no,
It's just, you know,
that ain't a pain you forget, is it, Steve?
he probably still got a welt from one of them things.
I'm still stuck on the frogs and slings.
Don't give Ollie no idea.
That'd be the first one I hit behind Zach, because his mama won't let him take a slingshot home.
Fresh road apples make a wonderful splat the side of your brother's head.
Oh, I bet they do. I fling rotten pears at them. Mom and Dad had a pear tree out there.
There's them old persimmons, the small, little and small persimmons.
Till you find out one isn't quite ripened all the way like that. You hit him with a little bit too hard pear in the head.
Man down. Don't you go crying to mama.
No.
Danae's talking about a cattle prod works good for letting your sisters to do getting your sisters to do what you want.
Yeah.
I'm in control now.
They hear that thing and then they're like, oh.
That's some good
I've been hit
stories,
with a cattle prod. The cattle prod hurts.
Well, evidently I got more pictures on Facebook than I realized. Way too many.
Y'all give me some good laughs this evening. We sure needed that.
Seriously.
I'll probably have to go back and watch this part tomorrow.
Watch cat replay.
Yeah.
I was telling Ian, I'm kind of excited. We're not even having a real Monday tomorrow. We're doing that bee cutout instead of regular work. So I'm not dreading Monday morning quite as bad.
No, we're gonna this Monday will be laid back.
I'll tell you what, I was so jazzed today with that swarm. I've never been in that many bees at one time.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I can't say. Well, I've been in a bunch of bees before, but not an actual swarm like that. That many bees in a swarm.
I can't wait to go check your video out.
Well, Bruce Jenny had when I've helped him extract his honey. They take their boxes out on a trailer and let the bees, scavenge what was left in the comb. And then a bunch of them flying around. I'm standing out there with my hands open like that, enjoying the buzzing around. But that wasn't actually a swarm. They're just getting something to eat and flying off, These girls were all over the place. I got good shots of it against the sky. They were everywhere.
Oh,
I'm thinking it's about a 10-pound swarm.
It's a peaceful feeling. The best way we describe it, being out in one of them swarms, especially. Hannah still have to suit up now to get out there in them, but beforehand, we would just go.
I would just sit in the middle of them.
And I love doing that. I was so excited. I'd never seen so many bees with their butt in the air at one time. Fanning the nasing off, and you can smell it.
I usually get that banana scent.
Hey, Larimore had a question. He said he's got one colony that will only use their top entrance. They keep propolising the bottom entrance.
Propolising, not propolising.
We're not Yankees down here, y'all. It's propolis.
Well, I have
to do their thing. This one. If it's up.
Personal preference, too.
Well, the only thing I tell you is just block that rascal off the best you can, and they'll figure out that other entrance.
Well,
Get them come back down.
I mean, is it gonna hurt them?
No,
They want to use the top entrance?
no, it ain't gonna hurt them. It's just they done found another route to
Mhm.
come in and out. That's all it is.
And as you add supers, they got to find their way all the way up.
Well, yeah, that's true.
No, I mean, like you say, it's just a personal thing. If you'd rather them use your bottom entrance as a one way in and one way out, or
But I have learned something in my short time being a beekeeper. Them bees got a reason for everything they do,
the
and
on,
they know what they're doing.
the only time
Yeah.
that I would maybe worry about that is whenever you getting into the dirt,
Mm-hmm.
and especially if they're a smaller colony, then I'd probably have a little more cause for concern. But right now, with everything fixing to just fire up, but flows fixing to kick on for everybody, buddy, I'd let them rip. Wouldn't it? Well, I wouldn't worry about them.
He said he opened the bottom and plugged the top with wax, and they chewed it out and fertilized the bottom. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I just let them go with it, man. If they're fighting that hard
Yeah,
to
let them
keep
do
it
it.
up there, they got a reason for it. It's doing something to make
Well,
their life easier, apparently.
Moore's Homestead has a what I was thinking is if they have the entrance at the top, they're probably going to have their brood more towards the top.
He said, roll on.
Mm. Yeah, probably so. Especially if you ain't got no excluder trying to keep her down in your bottom two boxes. Or I imagine you at least have two boxes for brood chambers and start stacking your supers on top of that.
Mm-hmm. That's a good song, too, Keith.
Yes, sir. I
Now
have.
it's stuck in my head.
Uh,
Don't we all, DC?
he says he stays down, so
Mm-hmm.
it just may be a convenient thing. 'Cause like with the horizontal hive out there, we called ourselves helping this colony during the summertime, and let's see, year before last, I think it was, we had just let this one colony take that whole 30 frame, and we filled it up with 30 frames, and the whole colony, they about filled, I'm gonna say about 27 of those 30 frames were either honey, brood, pollen, whatever it was. So it started getting on in the summertime pretty good bit. Well, we noticed after everybody's coming home during the evening time from working in the field, they gathering up and bearding on the outside of the box, and we was like, well, we'll open up this one side. Yeah, we're gonna help y'all out. Let some more air ventilate through here. So we opened up one entrance and we put some wire over it to keep from robbers getting in. Well, little did we know until we started cleaning the colony out after they had gotten beetle infestated. But once we started cleaning that box out, we happened to look at that entrance. They didn't like what we done. They sealed, I mean, literally from end to end, top to bottom, they sealed that whole entrance off with propolis.
It was a solid wall of propolis across there.
Well, y'all didn't like what we done for you, apparently. So
We was letting out the cool air they was generating in there, Rick. That's what I say. They know what they need better than we do a whole lot of times. So if they're fighting you that hard to stay with that entrance, just me personally, I just let her go or let them go.
Well, yeah,
go ahead, Bob.
it's 10:30 my time, so
Go for it.
Oh my gosh, this is nothing.
Ooh, we done How much time? 2 hours and 30 minutes flew by this evening.
And it only took me 2 cups of coffee. That makes what, 13 cups of that Death Wish coffee I've drank today.
I guess we're gonna have to. Well, he done gone, so he can't give you the link.
Mm-mm.
Have to get you another packet of.
Oh, it won't be long. No, I already saved it in the card on Amazon.
They don't sell that at your Walmart.
Huh?
They don't sell that at your Walmart, Death Wish. They sell it here.
I'm sure they do, but I avoid Walmart like the plague.
Me too.
I hate going in there.
Look,
I try to avoid it.
You talk about make my blood pressure go through the roof. Make me go in Walmart.
Larry Moore, is that a single or double box? I think Mr. Mike Conley was wanting to know on that, if I'm right.
Mhm.
He headed out.
Maybe him.
Yeah. Hopefully we get the answer for you there. Oh, Mike.
You said
But I'm
it's
asking double. Okay.
Hey, DC said I think an upper entrance helps them dry out. That's interesting.
Well, I guess we get that,
That ventilation going.
especially down here, help get that humidity on us out of there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the heat's gonna rise, so if they gotta open it up there to let it escape.
Let
Makes
it rip.
sense.
Yeah. We fix to wrap it up, gentlemen.
Yeah.
sounds like a plan.
Ladies, too.
Yeah, you always leave us out.
Well, it's one of them, like, guys things.
Well, you didn't say guys.
I didn't say
Yeah.
everybody is guys, right?
Yeah,
Hey, guys.
Yeah, in the South, that's acceptable as a group term, but gentleman most definitely does not include the ladies.
my apologies on that happened to you.
You're also being
Mhm.
very generous with the term gentleman when you're speaking with us.
Rick.
I wouldn't say that out loud. Danae, yeah, but Steve, come on.
Y'all don't get on me too bad.
You need to go back to the school and get it together.
Well, I keep up. Y'all gonna have switches after me after all that talk.
Oh, big time. I'm gonna get my mama's buggy whip.
Can't fit me. I'm a grown man now. I will run.
You run away, you can fight another day, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, calm her down in the morning.
Yeah, he'll have coffee made when I wake up.
You better find a nice spot in that couch next to Jasper.
Mm.
Turn that dishwasher on. Oh, let me get these real quick. Yeah.
Turn that dishwasher on.
I wish he turned that dishwasher on. There's a few of them over there. I've been kind of waiting to see.
Actually, if you figure out how much you spend make each meal to feed him, right?
Yeah,
How much it costs for each meal, you probably could have had the money saved up. You didn't feed him.
Yeah. Steve Amos was joking about that in the chat earlier when everybody was talking about the M word.
Mm-hmm.
And when you started the whole, oh, she can't hear, say it. And then it was like, I'm waiting on a plate to go play. And Steve said, it's better to have a plate than an iron skillet. So I wrote back to her and I was like, yeah, but something about she generally won't cook for the one who angered her. So he wrote back and and if she does happily cook, you need to switch plates with her when she's not cooking.
The M word he was talking about was machine, washing machine.
Yeah,
Dishwashing machine.
that's it.
She might get one.
Mine.
IGHT.
Mhm. You were
IGHT.
just like jumping on that red alert button. Seeing it.
I can say this now because like after Ed's live, I sent yesterday. I sent him a text and I told him, I said, brother, I apologize about me getting so wound up on you live and all that good stuff. And you know, he messaged me back. No, you cool, brother. And I did tell him I wasn't gonna tell you this until after the show, but I did tell him. I said, just keep your ears open because I'll aggravate her with something somewhere along those lines. So keep your ears open.
Yeah.
I love you.
Oh, I bet you do. But y'all been
Oh,
plotting on a way to push my button.
I was plotting, so don't blame me.
That's why you let me take just
no,
enough of a nap.
I played along with it. That's why I said something about when you got up to leave, you could say the M word.
Yeah.
I knew you took the phone with you. I knew you were going to see it.
No, I didn't take the phone with me, but literally, like my coffee cup is right there.
I'd
I
have,
could hear it.
I'd have had to whisper it to y'all.
Mm-hmm. What did old Si say? I can hear like an eagle.
Yeah.
You be standing right next to some people, they can't hear what you say, but they walk out the room, you say something quiet. What'd you say? Yeah, they heard what
There's
you
your
said.
red button.
Mm.
Danae, put all your red alert buttons in there.
That's my hearing. I constantly, we can sit here, and it's not that I'm doing the man thing and ignoring conversation or whatever we're doing.
Y'all believe that?
Y'all, this is the truth. But she can be in her normal voice, and I'm constantly, huh? What'd you say? I can't pick it up. But by golly, I can hear a cricket break wind 100 yards through the woods over there.
That is no joke. That is no joke.
It's a correct frequency.
I don't know what it is, but there's something about it. I can hear the distance.
I think it's selective hearing.
What
you
is
know,
it?
that
the kids
disorder
say-
that affects men.
What is it the kids say nowadays? That they're talking about their truth, speaking their truth.
Yeah, that's
Speaking
it.
his truth right now.
It's
This is
still true. Oh, William got him a swarm out of a peach tree.
Awesome, brother. Heck yeah.
Danae believes you.
Thank you, Danae.
Oh, she got my back buttons, not yours.
It's good to see everybody getting on swarms and
Yeah.
getting them yards built up.
There's a lot of people talking about storms and things.
Just remember, we got the ship going on championship.
Did Joey ever enter in that? Because he said he caught so many swarms, he finally just took his traps down already.
Joey never sent me anything he didn't really enter in, but he's
I
caught
don't
a
know if he did or not. But I know he said he's done caught so many swarms, he's took his traps down.
There it is.
Danae's got my back. Jack's got yours.
I was going to say that. I was thinking, I bet you Joel Jack got my back.
Mm.
Uh-huh. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Well, yeah.
I'm getting exhaustion delirious here.
We have absolutely enjoyed this evening. We appreciate everybody coming in, the chats. Thank y'all for James Noel.
Membership.
Yeah, Mr. Steve Amos. Thank y'all very much on that end. Y'all have a blessed week.
He said, I got you, girl.
Yeah. I see how all this works now.
Hey, there's like 3 of us up against 80 of y'all in here. Don't you begrudge me my support.
All right, I'll let you have it on this one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. Thank you much. God bless you. And Lord willing, we'll see y'all on the next one. Y'all take care.
Good week.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
All right.